好，咁我哋今次 OneNightTalk 咧就同Jade Festival 合作啦，咁而家咧就會有一系列嘅音樂人啦接受我哋訪問。咁而今日咧嚟到我哋現場唔係，其實我哋隔住個網嘅線上嘅就係 Scott Hsu。
Hi Scott, where are you now?
I'm in Amherst, Massachusetts, in the U.S.
But you will come to Vancouver very soon.
Yeah. I'll be there next week, actually.
OK， 咁好快就見到喺溫哥華噶啦，不如咧就由佢嘅故事開始問下先啦。咁就係 So can you share to our audience about your music story?
Sure. I'm a musician with 30 years of experience. I've been playing music since I was a very little kid. I started off playing piano and then picked up bass guitar when I was a teenager and then just kept on learning more and more instruments after that.And been learning how to like write music and record myself, do live sound, start bands, lead bands, put on shows, like everything related to music. I've just kind of like absorbed like throughout my whole life. And I've been doing music in some way just through all the different stages of my life. You know, when I was in school,when I graduated and started working, I did like lots of side projects. And last year, I was telling Goldshake, I finally decided to quit my day job as a math teacher and commit to being a full-time musician. So I've been doing that for about a year now.Do
you know your story is well known within the festival organizer? Because when they introduce, your story is so special that you must share with us about transforming from a school teacher to a musician.
Oh, yeah.
OK， 我哋啲聽眾一定要聽下以下呢個故事，因為咧喺我哋接觸呢個 music festival 嘅時候咧，Scott 嘅故事咧其中一個好特別嘅，因為佢係由一個嘅數學老師變成一個音樂人嘅喎。So let's share your story about transforming.Yeah.
So I think like music has always been my passion. I've always felt I could be the most myself when I was making music. I just loved expressing myself. I feel like I'm able to really feel my emotions. I think when I'm making music or just when I'm listening to music even.And so I've just always been very passionate about it, but I can say that I haven't always been very confident in myself. You know, I struggled a lot to like believe in myself, especially as a young man, and it was also just very hard for me to believe that I could.invest like my whole life into like what I'm really passionate about. I didn't think that like I had a place in live entertainment. I didn't think that the music industry had like a place for people like me. And so I didn't really pursue it as hard as I think I should have. But even though that was the case, I still was involved in music in some sort of way, you know, like I never let go of the passion. It's just I wasn't willing to bet on myself, you know, to take the risk of saying like, look, I have something really special to offer. You know, I have a lot of talents. I'm really good at what I do. People are really going to resonate. They're going to really love the music that I make. It wasn't until I started to gain that kind of confidence that I was able to say, look, you know, like my life is
mean to be a full-time musician.
Just
yeah.
Thing, right?
Yeah, it's like I decided that life is too short for you to like not do what you're passionate about. Okay. You know, the pandemic was like a very big moment for me. It like helped clarify a lot of things in my life. It helped me see that like I'm wasting my time by not like investing in being a full-time musician. You know, Yeah.
Sorry，即係都係一啲生命嘅啟發啦，令到佢覺得即係要為自己嘅興趣夢想轉型追求。咁啊 ，it's very touching because like as you said, so many things happen in the world. Like
great story.
You must be inspiring someone else too. So it's glad to hear that.
我哋都想睇下佢音樂上面嘅風格咧，睇下介紹下係點樣。So obviously we know that you're a talent in music in a lot of music styles and you perform a lot of instruments. So so we would like to know more about how would you describe about your music style, or just to introduce your music style to our audience?
Sure. Well, like my music style is it's inspired by the music that I grew up with. So I'm a child of like the 90s. So I listened to a lot of like 80s and 90s popular music growing up. So like a lot of rock, like alternative rock. When I picked up bass guitar, that was the music that I was listening to. That was the music that I was learning how to play along with. So that's a big influence for me. I listened to a lot of video game music as a kid.
Ooh.
You know, like
video game music.
Yeah. Like
you're still making it.
Yeah. Like the Nintendo, like Super Nintendo kind of like era of music, especially. Like I listened to a lot of that as a kid. Let me see. There's elements of like folk and country in my music because I grew up playing music in the church. It was like my first regular gig, like playing every Sunday and also like Fridays too, for my parents' church services, and then eventually like the church services I attended. I don't know, but I think from there it's just I've picked up like lots of different kinds of genres of music from different people that I've played with. I've always been very collaborative. I had some friends in high school who were really into like jam band music, funk, like ska. So like I played some music that was like in that kind of genre. The first band that I was in was like a punk band, so I learned how to play that kind of music by being in the band. Yeah, like I've always been like very thirsty to thirsty for more knowledge and for just more skills as a musician. So I've always been interested in learning lots of different kinds of instruments. And so that like leads me to like what I'm mainly doing today when I'm performing, which is live looping. So like when I'm performing, like I'll oftentimes play different kinds of instruments and loop them together and like create compositions like on the spot and then perform over them. I've been getting really into like Chinese instruments actually. More recently, like I've been like trying to learn how to play the erhu.
Okay, that's like
I was gonna
Chinese violin. Chinese violin.
Chinese violin.
I was gonna tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not really that good at it yet, but I'm still learning.
This is a good direction.
Will you perform it in the Jade Festival?
Probably not.
Put it on a neck. Maybe it's a violin.
Yeah. Well, I think I need to get a case for it. It's a pretty fragile instrument, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
Scott 咧就係好多嘅背景啦，連遊戲機嘅音樂都聽好多，所以就即係好多嘅係整緊遊戲機音樂添啦，仲即係好多方向嘅。咁因此咧就亦都有學下新嘅樂器啊，二胡都可以即係拎上手。咁所以其實係一個好闊嘅眼光啦咁樣。不如又問下佢咧，其實佢創作裏邊有冇放一啲特別嘅華語嘅元素落去啊？Did you put any specific Asian elements in your music with connected with your background?
Yeah. So I in my songs I write about my like own personal experiences. So like there's a song about this girl that I knew. She was like the pastor's daughter of the church that I went to when I was a very little kid, and her name is Hsu. So like the most recent song that I released is actually about her and how she was like the first girl that I ever imagined myself like spending the rest of my life with. Even though I wasn't like really like in love with her or like I don't know, was like old enough to really have the kind of feelings that we have as adults, like romantic feelings. But like my music is like very much rooted in like my own experiences. I'll say that for most of my life, I've only written my music in English. I haven't really embraced the Asian, like the Taiwanese part of my identity until more recently. Like I think because I didn't see myself represented that much in music or in like TV or movies. Growing up in the US, like I had a lot of like internalized shame that I didn't really know about until I was more mature and started looking into it, started asking questions about like my identity more. And so I've really been trying to embrace that more, especially as an artist, especially as someone whose like profession is to like be authentic.
Yeah.
So like one thing that I'm doing now is I'm trying to get back in, well, not back into. I'm trying to write music in Mandarin.
Okay.
So I actually recently wrote a song in Mandarin, and I've got it produced and everything. I'm like slotting into like my release schedule. I'm planning on releasing it next year. I think
That's
like
cool.
early in the year. I'm
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm planning on debuting the song actually for the first time at Jade Music Festival. And,
That's nice. So how's the market in like US, like Asian background musicians? Is that a big market or is it a special genre?
I don't really know. I'll say this: when I look at what artists are performing here in like my local area, I don't see Asian American artists very, very frequently, and I basically never see male Asian American artists.
Really? Okay.
Like almost never. Sometimes I'll see them if they're like a supporting role, or they're doing like classical music, and it's like a like something that's like a little bit more academic maybe. But I don't see people like me performing kind of where I am, at least. Now, if you go into the city, into like Boston or New York, maybe you'll see like a little bit more representation. But for the most part, I don't think I've ever really naturally come across like Mandarin speaking or like Cantonese speaking artists. It's pretty rare. I imagine that there are people who would really like it. Like I know that there are Mandarin Cantonese speaking people in my area. Obviously they're here in America. Like the US is like roughly like 6 or 7% Asian, I think, and it's like growing like pretty fast. But the representation that we have in music especially is like very, very, very slim.
但係而家即係去到有個 internet 嘅世界，咁應該唔會淨係困喺嗰個地區啦。我相信。Like I'm asking, like if not, is it nowadays like every musician can reach audience online, so it's not only affected by the location, right? So
exactly.
How do you outreach yourself?
Yeah, so I started streaming on Twitch, which is a live stream platform. It's more known for gamers streaming gaming content, but there's a big portion of the platform that's for musicians. And so I discovered during the pandemic that there were a lot of musicians who were live streaming. And so I started a channel back in 2021. And I started streaming like regularly. And so like today I say that my audience is like global. I have fans in like Singapore and Malaysia, in Taiwan, in Germany, Finland, the UK, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, Canada,
worldwide.
So I mean, So like the great thing about streaming my music, I think, is I can reach like an audience that I wouldn't be able to if I were playing shows here. Like the music experience is still different, but it's not necessarily like a bad thing. I think I think there's an intimacy that you can have when you're performing live on the internet.
So are you looking forward to
leading into that? Yeah.
Are you looking forward to this performance coming in November?
Oh yeah, totally. You know, I've never gotten to perform for an event that was like for people who look like me. And so, like, you know, for me, that's going to be very meaningful. I probably wouldn't have, you know, taken the initiative to start writing music in Mandarin if it weren't for the fact that I were playing for Jade Music Festival. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Not just performing too. I'm really looking forward to like seeing the other performances and learning from what like all the other peers I have to offer. You know, learning more about what music is like in Vancouver, in Asia, etc.
Yeah, it's a special city, I would say, because we have so many immigrants throughout these years, and especially in the Chinese
community, right?
Exactly.
Not just Chinese,
not just Japanese, Korean, Taiwanese. So it's a very like multicultural cities. So I think you'll get some inspiration as well too.
Yeah. I love Vancouver. I've been spending a lot of time there for the past couple of years.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's just such a beautiful city. I feel very much at home when I'm there. You know, like people are starting to like think that I'm Canadian because like I spent a lot of time there. It kind of like secretly makes me happy.
It's a friendly style. Like a Canadian is more relaxing a little bit. So like if I'm going to ask you for a guideline， 即係如果同啲聽眾問下，即係有啲乜嘢嘅留意嘅地方咧，你 performance 咧，即係個 Jade Music 嘅時候 ，if I'm asking for some guidelines for our audience to enjoy your music in the coming performance, how you say so?
Pay attention to what it is that I'm doing as I'm like setting up a song, because when I'm performing, I'm live looping my music. So what that means is I'll play like a part of the music and I'll have it looping, and like the parts will, you know, come on and come off kind of at different times. And so that's something that I think is like kind of unique about how it is that I perform as a solo artist. And I really love to hear what people have to say about my Mandarin music, because it's very, very new for me, you know. I feel like there's like certain things that I can express in Mandarin that are harder for me to express in English, you know. So I'm really curious to hear what people have to say about it.
Yeah, I think it's a different kind of experience. Yes. So if we would like to, 我哋不如請佢介紹一首佢嘅歌好嘛？ We would like to ask you to introduce one of your song that you want to share with our audience by yourself.
Okay. Let me see. I think I'd actually want to share a song that I released back in March. It's called "You Got My Love."
You Got My Love.
And so it's a song about the kind of love that makes you feel free. That was sort of the idea that I had for it. And it features guest vocals from Alex C Music, who I think you interviewed earlier today.
In Vancouver,
Yep. I think it's like one of the most like joyful songs that I've written. And I'm just very proud of like the arrangement that I have for it. And it's just it's a song that I think like really describes the like new direction that I'm trying to go in with my music. A lot of like my older material like tended to be a little bit more dark, like a little bit more kind of like raw, I guess. But I'm trying to explore other themes in my music. It's a song that I think people will really enjoy. I'm going to be performing it at Jade Music Festival as well.
好啊，咁
We're looking forward to
Yes, looking forward to it。咁啊，其實我都聽到 Scott 嘅分享咧，即係佢喺佢嘅音樂路上面係有經好多體驗啦，亦都有好多一啲想法啦。咁逐樣
理想，
冇錯，逐樣幫佢實踐喺佢嘅計劃裏邊啦。咁所以亦都佢都有嚟過溫哥華，好中意呢個地方，所以我哋有地主之誼啊，
都歡迎佢，
係啦。So we say we welcome you to come back again for the performance coming soon, and always come back to travel. Because like we are friendly, and if you have got inspiration from us, then we can feel your love to the city in your music. Yeah. Thank you very much for your interview today. 係啦，咁我哋今日就
See you in Vancouver.
Yes, see you in Vancouver soon.
Okay, yeah, we'll do.
Okay,
Bye.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Bye bye.